While I thought I had two families, but now I know I really don't have any. You're very lucky, Andy. You don't know it, but you are. But maybe I'm lucky too, in another way. I was talking to Mrs. Wadsworth, who comes in from Hartford to teach us art, and she says I have a real talent for both drawing and painting, and she's going to try me out in pottery as well. She said some afternoon she's going to take me just by myself to her studio in Hartford, and we'll do life drawings of her lover in just a jockstrap. Don't laugh. She says art and sex are sort of the same thing.
Dear Melissa, I have 4 questions, so please concentrate. 1, will you come up to the midwinter dance? 2, if so, can you arrive on the 11:22 Friday night train? 3, does the rector's wife have to write your headmistress telling her where you will be staying? 4, does the rector's wife also have to write your mother?
The answer is yes, except for my mother, who won't care.
I have to tell you this right off the bat. I'm really goddamn mad at you. I invite you up here for the only dance my class has been able to go to since we got here. I meet you at the train and buy you a vanilla milkshake and bring you out to school in a taxi. I score 2 goals for you during the hockey game the next afternoon. I buy you the $8 gardenia corsage, and I make sure your dance card is filled with the most regular guys in the school. And then what happens? I now hear that you sneaked off with Bob Bartram during the Vienna Waltz and necked with him in the coat room. I heard that from 2 guys. And then Bob himself brought it up yesterday at breakfast. He says he French kissed you and touched both your breasts. I tried to punch him, but Mr. N-Body restrained me. I'm really sore, Melissa. I consider this a betrayal of everything I hold near and dear, particularly since you would hardly even let me kiss you goodnight after we had cocoa at the rector's. And you know what I'm talking about, too. So don't expect any more letters from me or any telephone calls either during spring vacation. Sincerely yours.
Sorry. I hate that Bob Bartram. I hated him even when I necked with him. I know you won't believe that, but it's true. You can be attracted to someone you hate. Well, maybe you can't, but I can. So, all right, I necked with him, but he never touched my chest, and if he says he did, he should be strung up by his testicles. You can tell him that for me at breakfast. Anyway, I got carried away, Andy, and I'm a stupid bitch, and I'm sorry. I feel so guilty about it that I didn't want to kiss you after Coco. And besides, Andy, gulp, how do I say this? With you, it's different. You're like a friend to me. You're like a brother. I've never had a brother, and I don't have too many friends, so you're both, Andy. You're it. My mother says you must never say that to a man, but I'm saying it anyway, and it's true. Maybe if I didn't know you so well, maybe if I hadn't grown up with you, maybe if we hadn't written all these goddamn letters all the time, I could have kissed you the way I kissed Bob Bartram. Oh, please, let's see each other spring vacation. Please, I count on you, Andy. I need you. I think sometimes I go stark raving mad if I didn't have you to hold on to. I really think that sometimes. Much love. Happy Easter! I know no one sends Easter cards except maids, but here's mine anyway, drawn by my own hot little hands. I drew those tears on that corny bunny on the left because it misses you so much, but maybe I've just made it all the cornier. Greetings from Palm Beach. Decided to visit my grandmother, yawn, yawn. I'm a whiz at backgammon and gin rummy. Here you took Gretchen Lasalas to see Quo Vadis and sat in the loge and put your arm around her and smoked. Oh, naughty, naughty. Back at school, but not for long, that's for sure. Caught nipping gin in the woods with Bubbles Harriman. Have to pack my trunk by tonight and be out by tomorrow. Mummy's frantically pulling strings all over the eastern seaboard for another school. Mrs. Wadsworth, my art teacher, thinks I should just chuck it and go to Italy and study art. What do you think? Oh, please, write, Auntie, please. I need your advice. Or are you too busy thinking about Gretchen Lascelles?
To answer your question about Italy, I think you're too young to go. My mother said that she had a roommate once who went to Italy in the summer, and the Italians pinched her all the time in the rear end. Mother says she became thoroughly overstimulated. So I think maybe you should go to another school, graduate, go to college, and maybe after that, when you're more mature, you could go to Italy. That's my advice for what it's worth, which is probably not much the way things are going between you and me.
Here I am at Emma Willard's Academy for Young Lesbians. Help! Let me out of here! Plus ça change, plus c'est le same shit. Are you coming straight home in June? Because I am. I want to see you. Or are you still in love with Gretchen Lascelles?
For your information, I'm not taking Gretchen Lascelles out anymore. I brought her home after the Penny's party, and my father caught us on the couch. He told me that he didn't care what kind of girls I took out as long as I didn't bring them around my mother, even though my mother was up in bed. Still, I guess Gretchen can be embarrassing to older people.
I hope to see you in June then.
Can't come home in June, sorry. I have to go and be a counselor at the school camp for poor kids from the urban slums. I'm vice president of my class now, and I'm supposed to set an example of social responsibility all through July. I'll be writing you letters, though, and I hope you'll write me.
I don't want to write letters all the time. I really don't. I want to see you.
You just need more confidence in your letter writing ability. Sometimes you manage to attain a very vivid style.
Won't you please just stop writing about writing and come home and go to the Campbell sports party before you go up to that stupid camp? Please? I behave better when you're around. In person. Please?
Greetings from New Hampshire. This card shows the town we're near where we sneak in and buy beer. We're cleaning the place up now and putting out the boat docks and caulking the canoes because the kids arrive tomorrow. Gotta go right soon.
I miss you. I really wish you had come to the Campbell sports party.
Dear Melissa, Sandy McCarthy arrived from home for the second shift here at camp, and he told me all about the Campbell sports party. He said you wore a two-piece bathing suit and ran around goosing girls and pushing boys into the pool. Do you enjoy that sort of crap? He said the other girls were furious at you. Don't you want the respect of other women? Sandy also said you let Bucky Zeller put a tennis ball into your cleavage. Are you a nympho or what? Don't you ever like just sitting down somewhere and making conversation? Sandy says you're turning into a hot box. Do you like having that reputation? Hell, I thought there was a difference between you and Gretchen Lascelles. Maybe I was wrong. Don't you care about anything in this world except hacking around? Don't you feel any obligation to help the poor people, for example? Sometimes I think your big problem is you're so rich you don't have enough to do, and so you start playing grab-ass with people. I'm sorry to say these things, but what Sandy told me made me slightly disgusted, frankly. I wrote you a letter from New Hampshire. Did you receive it? Are you there, or are you visiting your grandmother, or what? Are you sore at me? I bet you're sore at me. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm a stuffy bastard sometimes, aren't I? The hell with you then.
Ooh. Big, tough Andy using four-letter words like hell.
Screw you.
Don't you wish you could?
Well, everyone else seems to be.
Don't believe everything you read in the papers. Dear Andrew Makepeace Lad, the turd, I just want you to know you hurt me very much. I just want you to know that. Now let's just leave each other alone for a while. All right? All right.
Dear Melissa, my mother wrote me that your grandmother had died. Please accept my dearest sympathies.
Thank you for your note about my grandmother. I loved her a lot, even though she could be a little boring.
Congratulations on getting into Briarcliff. I hear it's great.
Thank you for your note about Briarcliff. It's not great, and you know it. In fact, it's a total pit. But it's close to New York, and I can take the train in and take drawing at the Institute 3 days a week. And in 2 years, if I stick it out, Mummy is promised I can go live in Florence. I hope you like Yale.
Would you consider coming to the Yale-Dartmouth game Saturday, October 28th?
I'll be there.
Oh, damn. I'm sorry, Melissa. I have to cancel. My parents have decided to visit that weekend, and they come first, according to them. My mother says she'd love to have you with us, but my father thinks you can be somewhat distracting.
You and your parents. Let me decide when you decide to grow up.
How about the Harvard game, November 16th?
Do you plan to grow up at the Harvard game?
Give me a chance. I might surprise you.
Okay, let's give it a try. You should know that I'm even richer now than when you said I was rich, thanks to poor Granny. I plan to drive up to the front gate of Calhoun College in my new red Chrysler convertible and sit there stark naked, honking my horn and drinking champagne and flashing all the freshmen.
Here's the schedule. We'll have lunch at Calhoun around noon, then drive out to the game. Then there's a sea breeze party at the Fence Club afterwards and an eggnog brunch at St. Anthony's the next day. I'll reserve a room for you at the Taft or the Duncan. Probably the Taft, since the Duncan is a pretty seedy joint.
Make it the Duncan. I hear the Taft is loaded with parents all milling around the lobby, keeping tabs on who goes up in the elevators. Can't wait until the 16th.
The Duncan it is. Hubba hubba, Goodyear rubber.
Dear Andy, this is supposed to be a thank you note for the Yale-Harvard weekend, but I don't feel like writing one, and I think you know why. Love, Melissa.
Dear Melissa, I keep thinking about the weekend. I can't get it out of my mind. Wasn't much good, was it? I don't mean just the Duncan. I mean the whole thing. We didn't really click, did we? I always had the sense that you were looking over my shoulder, looking for someone else, and then ditto with me. Both of us seemed to be expecting something different from what was there. As for the Hotel Duncan, I don't know. Maybe I had too many sea breezes. Maybe you did. But what I really think is that there were too many people in that hotel room. Besides you and me, it seemed my mother was there egging us on, and my father shaking his head, and your mother zonked out on the couch, and Miss Hawthorne and your grandmother sitting on the sidelines watching us like hawks. Anyway, I was a dud. I admit it. I'm sorry. I went to the infirmary on Monday and talked to the doctor about it, and he said, all these things happen all the time, particularly when there's a lot of pressure involved. The woman doesn't have to worry about it so much, but the man does. Anyway, it didn't happen with Gretchen LaSalle. You can write her and ask her if you want.
You know what I think is wrong? These letters. These goddamn letters. That's what's wrong with us, in my humble opinion. I know you more from your letters than I do in person. Maybe that's why I was looking over your shoulder. I was looking for the person who's been in these letters all these years. Or for the person who's not in these letters, I don't know. All I know is you're not the same person when I see you, Andy. You're really not. I'm not saying you're a jerk in person. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that all this letter writing has messed us up. It's a bad habit. It made us seem like people we're not. So maybe what was wrong was that there were two people missing in the Hotel Duncan that night. Namely, the real you and the real me.
Whatever the matter is, we're in real trouble, you and I. That I realize. So now, what do we do about it? Maybe we should just concentrate on dancing together. Then we can still hold each other and move together and get very subtly sexy with each other and not have to deliver the goods all the time, if you know what I mean. Come to think of it, maybe that's why they sent us to dancing school in the first place. Maybe that's why dancing was invented.
At least we should stop writing letters for a while. You could start by telephoning me, actually. Here is our dorm number, Wilson 1 2486.
I hate talking to you on the telephone. Yours is in the hall and ours is right by the college dining room. People are always coming and going and making cracks. Telephoning is not letter writing at all.
I called the telephone company and they put in a private phone in my room. Rogers 22403. It's sort of expensive, but at least we can talk.
The reason I'm calling, and the reason I'm writing is because your phone's always busy, or else ours is, and I can't afford a private one. Maybe we should just start writing letters again.
No letters, please. Now, order that telephone. I'll lend you the dough. Just think about it. You can talk back and forth and hear someone's real voice and get to know someone in life rather than in writing paper, for God's sake. Now get that phone, please.
I'm writing because when I telephoned, you just hung up on me. One thing about letters, you can't hang up on them.
You can tear up letters, though. Enclosed are the pieces. Send them to Angela Atkinson at Sarah Lawrence.
What the hell is the matter?
I hear you're writing long letters twice a week to Angela Atkinson. That's what's the matter.
Okay, here goes. The reason I'm writing Angie Atkinson is because I don't think I can stop writing letters, particularly to girls. As I told you before, in some ways I feel most alive when I'm holed up in some corner writing things down. I pick up a pen, and almost immediately everything seems to take shape around me. I love to write. I love writing my parents because then I become the ideal son. I love writing essays for English because then I am for a short while a true scholar. I love writing letters to the newspaper, notes to my friends, Christmas cards, anything where I have to put down words. I love writing you most of all. I always have. I feel like a true lover when I'm writing you. This letter, which I'm writing with my own hand, with my own pen, in my own penmanship, comes from me and no one else, and is a present of myself to you. It's not typewritten, though. I've learned how to type. There's no copy of it, though I suppose I could use a carbon. And it's not a telephone call, which is dead as soon as it is over. No, this is just me, the way I write, the way my writing is, the way I want to be to you. Giving myself to you across a distance, not keeping or retaining any part of it for myself. Giving this piece of myself to you totally. And you can tear me up and throw me out, or keep me and read me today, tomorrow, anytime you want until you die.
Oh boy, Andy. Love, Melissa.
No, I meant what I wrote in my last letter. I've thought about it. I've thought about all those dumb things which were done to us when we were young. We had absent parents, slapping nurses, stupid rules, obsolete schooling, empty rituals, hopelessly confusing sexual customs. Oh my God! When I think about it now, it's almost unbelievable. It's a fantasy. It's like back in the Oz books, the way we grew up. But they gave us an out in the land of Oz. They made us right. They didn't make us write particularly well, and they didn't always give us important things to write about. But they did make us sit down and organize our thoughts and convey those thoughts on paper as clearly as we could to another person. Thank God for that. That saved us. Or at least saved me. So I have to keep writing letters. If I can't write them to you, I have to write them to someone else. I don't think I could ever stop writing completely. Now, can I come up and see you next weekend? Or better yet, won't you please escape from that suburban Sing Sing and come down here and see me? I wrote my way into this problem, and God damn it, I'm writing my way out. I'll make another reservation at the Hotel Duncan, and I promise I'll put down my pen and give you a better time.
Dear Andy, guess what? Right while I was in the middle of reading your letter, Jack Duffield telephoned from Amherst and asked me for a weekend up there, so I said yes before I got to where you asked me. Sorry, sweetie, but it looks like the telephone wins in the end.
Dear Melissa, somehow I don't think this is the end. Could be, but I really don't think it is. At least, I hope it isn't. Love, Andy.
There will be a 5-minute intermission. Please stand by, and the actors will return for the second half of Love Letters. And also, I'd like to correct, it is Julie Olsen and Bob Dedea. Thank you, and please stand by for a few minutes of intermission. Thank you.
Hey, yoo-hoo! Look where I am. Florence. Oops. I mean, Firenze. I love it.
What are you doing in Florence?
What am I doing? I'm painting, among other things.
Good luck on the painting. Go slow on the other things. Merry Christmas.
Buon Natale.
Happy birthday. Mother wrote you won an art prize in Perugia. She said it was a big deal. Congratulations.
Congratulations on making Scroll and Key, whatever that is.
Merry Christmas from the land of Oz.
Feliz Navidad from the Costa del Sol.
Happy birthday from the Sterling Library.
Here you graduated summa cum laude and with all sorts of prizes. Sounds disgusting.
Anchors away! Here I am looking like Henry Fonda and Mr. Roberts, writing this during the mid-watch on the bridge of a giant attack aircraft carrier churning through the Mediterranean in the wake of Odysseus and Lord Nelson and Richard Halliburton. You'll be pleased to know our guns are loaded, our planes in position, and our radar is constantly scanning the skies, all designed simply and solely to protect you against communism. The next time you see me, I want you to salute.
I should have known you'd join the Navy. Now you can once again be with all the boys.
We come into La Spezia in January. Could we meet?
Oh, sorry, I'll be in Zermatt in January.
Ship will be in Mediterranean all spring. We'll come into Naples March 3rd, 4th, or 5th. How about standing on the pier and waving us in?
As the French say, je suis désolé. And meeting Mother in Paris in March. Why don't you sail up the Seine?
Merry Christmas from Manila. I've been transferred to an admiral's staff.
Happy New Year from Aspen.
What are you doing in Aspen?
Going steadily downhill.
Oh, hello from Hong Kong.
Goodbye to San Francisco.
Konnichiwa. Ohayou gozaimasu. Short duty in Japan.
Hey, you. Rumor hath it you're hooked up with some little Jap bar girl out there. Say it isn't so. Mother wrote that you're living with some Japanese geisha girl and your family's all upset. Is that true? Did you get my letter? You're so far away and your Navy address is so peculiar that I'm not sure I'm reaching you. I hear you're seriously involved with a lovely Japanese lady. Would you write me about her?
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I thought you might appreciate this card. It's a print by the 19th century artist Hiroshige. It's called Two Lovers Meeting on a Bridge in the Rain. Love, Andy.
Hey, you sly dog. Are you getting subtle in your old age? Are you trying to tell me something? If so, tell me more. I told my psychiatrist about the great love affair you're having in Japan. I said I felt suddenly terribly jealous. He said that most American men have to get involved with a dark-skinned woman before they can connect with the gorgeous blonde goddess they really love. He brought up James Fenimore Cooper and Faulkner and John Ford movies and went on and on. Is that true? Write me what you think. I'm dying to hear from you. Did you get my last letter? I hope it didn't sound flip. Actually, I've just become involved with someone too. His first name is Darwin, and he works on Wall Street where he believes in survival of the fittest. I'd love to hear from you. Your mother told my mother that you've decided to marry your Japanese friend and bring her home. Oh no! Gasp, sob, sigh, say it isn't so. I've decided to marry Darwin. He doesn't know it yet, but he will. Won't you at least wish me luck?
Lieutenant Junior Grade Andrew M. Ladd III regrets that he is unable to accept the kind invitation of...
Dear Andy, thank you for the lovely Japanese bowl. I'll put flowers in it when you come to visit us. If you come to visit us, and if you bring flowers, maybe you'll bring your Japanese war bride and we can all sit around and discuss Rashomon. I know you'll like Darwin. When he laughs, it's like Pinocchio turning into a donkey. We're living in a carriage house in New Canaan, close to the train station, and I've got a studio all of my own. P.S. Won't you please write me about your big romance? Mother says your parents won't even talk about it anymore.
Dear Melissa, I'm writing to tell you this. Outside of you, And I mean, outside of you, this was probably the most important thing that ever happened to me. And I mean was. Because it's over, it's gone, and I'm coming home, and that's all I ever want to say about it ever again.
Mr. and Mrs. Darwin H. Cobb announced